Jong-Fast is a political commentator and a writer for Vanity Fair and the only child of feminist author and icon, the great Erica Jong. Her riveting new best-selling memoir, How to Lose Your Mother, A Daughter's Memoir, is a deeply personal account of dealing with Erica Jong's descent into dementia and other family traumas. She's had it rough. She's a great girl. Please welcome Molly Jong-Fast. Molly, as I mentioned, your mother, you know why I love Erica Jong so much? I'm from her generation. Yeah. She basically kicked off the sexual revolution with her book.
You missed.
I missed it because I was married, unfortunately, but she wrote a book called Fear of Flying, and everybody said, oh my God, I'm missing everything. Thank you, Erica. And it became a huge bestseller in the 70s, and in a way, it told us everything. But tell us more about her, and tell us why your book is so important.
Well, thank you. So I had very mixed feelings about writing this book because, you know, I do cable news, I talk about politics, I write, I have a podcast. You know, I had sort of gotten out of her shadow finally, and then all of a sudden I write this book and I'm right back in there, and I was like, was this a mistake? But what happened is all of a sudden she starts to get dementia, and I'm like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And I got sober at 19, so I can do hard things. And I was like, I don't understand how to do this. And I thought to myself, if I can't do this, I bet a lot of other people can't do this either. And I started running into people my age who I'd grown up with, and they would say, I don't know what to do. I have a mother who has dementia. I'm putting my father on Medicare. I mean, it was just like, it's a nightmare. It's so hard. And it's just really expensive, and you don't know what you're doing, and you don't know if it's the right thing or the wrong thing. And I felt like I could share my experience and help people, and I could write about it in a way that people would connect with, and that's what I've been seeing.
And you did.
And Molly, your book is, it's funny, it's honest, it's raw, and it chronicles what kind of reminded me of when Queen Elizabeth called that year Annus Horribilis, a horrible, horrible year.
Yeah.
The year of 2023 for you, which was the year your mom got diagnosed with dementia, but also your husband was diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
So it was a really bad, bad year.
Yeah.
And you wrote about it. Why did you want to write about it?
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting because I've been married to my husband for a long time. Joy knows him.
He's a charming guy.
He's a lovely guy.
Professor.
Yeah, he's not a public figure. So he got cancer, and I was like, I'm really sorry, but I'm gonna have to write about this. And you could tell he was like, oh. But you know, more than a third of Americans will get cancer.
Yeah.
These are crazy numbers. So the odds are good that someone in your life will get cancer, and cancer is its own weird thing, right? Like he had a lump in his pancreas. Was it pancreatic cancer? Was it neuroendocrine cancer? What did this mean for our family?
Yeah.
What did this mean for our teenage kids? And it was just a lot of calculus about, like, is he gonna be, and it turned out that he had this very good cancer, this neuroendocrine, even though it was on his pancreas, very treatable, very slow moving. But, you know, we didn't know for a couple of months, and we had these kids, and, you know, one's in college, and does he come home? And it was just very hard to navigate. And I felt that writing it down and showing people the little tricks I had learned, even though this is like technically a literary memoir, there's a lot of weirdly self-helpy stuff in there because I've been sober for a long time.
Well, you write in the book about your mom, quote, my mother had been a negligent parent and it was impossible for her to be otherwise. She was a damaged person. She wasn't a bad person. She tried her best, and it is true that sometimes your best isn't that good at all. Can you talk about the complicated relationship you had with her?
Yeah, I mean, I adore my mother, and I think she's incredibly fabulous. And
So
the truth is,
how fun she was.
she was a second wave feminist, and those women like Betty Friedan and Gloria Steinem was actually, they walked so we could tweet. You know, they created a world that we inherit today, right? You would not have a show of 5 women in 1964, right? And so I do think we owe them, and I certainly owe my mother a huge debt of gratitude. But, you know, writing that book that sold 27 million copies changed her life and made her a public figure. And it was hard for her to be the mother I needed her to be. And it's a struggle that we all have with kids. I mean, I have 3 kids, and it's a constant struggle of like how to sort of parent them in the way they deserve.
How come the fathers never get that same rap?
Never.
I know.
Ever, ever, ever.
Well, when your mother, I think this is extremely relatable as well, because when your mother started to get dementia, you made the decision to put her in a home, and you felt a lot of guilt about that, which the sandwich generation typically does, and a lot of people in similar situations, I think, feel that way. And you say that you're coming to terms with the loss of your mother, but you never had her.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So one of the things that is really common with dementia is that you start the mourning process when the person starts slipping away, because it is a death, right? It's a slow death. And there are ways in which that is actually a benefit because you have a longer time to reconcile with them. And there are ways in which it's incredibly painful. And for me, I had to sort of get myself to a place where I could understand that the relationship I had wanted with her was probably not going to come. And it's been really interesting because I have now this thing where I just want her life to be as fun as possible. Yeah. So like if she had a drinking problem, and so I don't take away alcohol from her. I'm sober a long time, but that was a choice that I made. And I let her do what I think will be fun, and I don't push her to do things that won't be fun for her. And I just try to make life as comfortable as possible for her, and not. And this is hard stuff, and no one really knows what to do.
Yeah, there's no playbook. But as we mentioned, obviously, your husband was diagnosed with cancer while your mom was going through suffering from dementia. And I understand you write about it. You managed that process by turning to a lot of dark humor.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, I was like, two very similar redheads, by the way.
It's the only way to cope.
It's the only way to cope.
If you don't laugh, you cry.
Exactly. And it was so dark.
Particularly since she doesn't drink alcohol.
And it was so dark. I do eat a lot of ice cream.
Yeah.
Like a lot. And I do go to bed sometimes when things look really dark. I'll go to bed at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
So you've been in bed since November.
That's right. Exactly. A lot of ice cream, a lot of television, a lot of checking out in healthy ways. Healthy ways.
I remember one of my aunts had dementia, and I went to see her. There are glimmers of humor, though.
Yeah. Oh.
I said to her, Aunt Julie, you're going to be 94. She said, what about you? She had said nothing for weeks.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's lovely to see you. Our thanks to Molly Jong-Fast. Her new book is called How to Lose Your Mother, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to buy it. But members of our audience are going home with a copy.